Welcome back to the Beat the Press podcast, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube once again. Our last video was the dang Super Bowl playoff predictions. We all know how that went. Obviously, did not do very good. The Buccaneers take it. We're not. But this video is not about the Super Bowl. You did not click on this video to talk about the Buccaneers. You clicked on this video to talk about the quarterbacks. To talk about what team it should look, what quarterbacks, what team should go after what quarterback. That's what I was trying to say. Couldn't speak English there for a second, but all right, here we go. I really want to get through this video. You know what I'm saying? I want to speed run this boy. 10 minutes. Hopefully we don't surpass about 15 minutes. Let's get it. First off, we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson. The hottest name in the market right now. Number 4 for the Houston Texans. Had an absolutely phenomenal season. Top 5 quarterback, IMO. So he's came out and he said, he wants to play for the 49ers and the Broncos. Those are the most intriguing teams to him. I believe Miami is also up there. However, Miami has came out and said, yeah, we're going to stick with Tua. They believe that Tua can be their guy and that the rookie mistakes will be able to, they'll be able to iron him out, unfold those mistakes. They want to surround him with more playmakers, which I totally agree with. I like it. I like Tua. So happy Miami doesn't decide to move on from him. So Niners, me being a Niners fan, not sure if you see the flag, but yeah, I'm a Niners fan. They have a very young receiving core with Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, obviously one of the best tight ends in the game. They have a great coach in Kyle Shanahan, an offensive mastermind. Just imagine what he could do with a mobile quarterback like Deshaun Watson. They have an elite defense, as we know of. Now, they'll probably have to get rid of Nick Bosa, but we saw how their defense played without Bosa this year, and it was still a pretty good level, and they have lots of potential. So much young talent on that team, and they're pretty good drafters as well. Cons, their cap space. They're not going to be able to, sign many players because they don't have much cap space. And their O-line is quite questionable, hence why Jimmy G is always getting injured. But I think that they'll be able to fix out. Now let's talk about the Broncos. They also have a young receiving core. Sutherland, Cortland, Sutton. I can never think of his name, but I really, really like, actually, as a matter of fact, Cortland Sutton. I don't know why. I always get his name mixed up. Jerry Jeudy, who could be a really, really good receiver in the league. He's such a great route runner, and I think his hands will progress. I think he'll be fine. He had a lot of drops, but I think he'll be fine. Noah Fant and KJ Hamler, so they have weapons. And Watson could be a leader. Cons, however, defense, not the best. And, Texans are looking for defense. Broncos, I wouldn't want to trade Bradley Chubb. Von Miller is a free agent. But they have a couple of pieces on defense. The Bears are also a team that I've seen a lot of people talk about. I personally don't think that it would happen. But, they're a young team also. They have a very good defense. However, Matt Nagy and the Bears are just notoriously bad. Yeah. I don't see him going to the Bears. But yeah, Niners, Broncos. Personally, I'll put the Broncos above the Niners. I don't want to, but I can see it because I feel like Niners are going to be a little stingy. But me personally, as a Niners fan, it's Watson or Jimmy. I wouldn't want anybody else. Now let's move over to just talking about straight teams. I feel like Watson is a special person. He deserves to be talked about by himself. Excuse me. So now we're going to talk about the teams. What quarterbacks these teams in need of a quarterback should target. The Patriots. I really, really like them trading down in the draft to draft Mac Jones. I just think he's the perfect quarterback for Bill Belichick. Kyle Trask is also another rookie quarterback that I'm not a huge fan of these two guys, actually, Jones and Trask. Not a huge fan of them, but I think that they're perfect for the Patriots. Jimmy G, if the Niners do plan to trade for Watson and they don't give up Jimmy, then I can see Patriots kind of coming in to take Jimmy. And also, they could also just roll with Stidham. Now let's talk about the pros and cons. The pros, they have a lot of cap space. Bill Belichick, obviously, and their defense. Their defense was at an elite level last year. Not this year, but last year. They had a lot of opt-outs, so you got to think about that. However, they don't really have any weapons. Julian Edelman is only getting older. Nobody else is really a good pass catcher. Also, they'll be losing Joe Thuney in free agency. I believe that's almost a guarantee. So that's definitely a huge loss. Let's go back to the Bears. I was talking about them getting Watson, and they have this young core and everything. They're notoriously bad. Some other quarterbacks that they can target is Mitch Trubisky. Just keeping Mitch Trubisky rolling with Mitch Trubisky. Marcus Mariota is an interesting one. You know, we saw what he did with the Raiders when Derek Carr was out, and he looked like he could actually be a starting quarterback. And now I'm not too sure, considering he's on the bench for a reason. We'll have to see what the Raiders want to do with him. They want to trade Mariota over Carr. I've seen a lot of people say, Carr to the Bears as well, just Carr getting traded in general. I don't see that happening. I can see Raiders keeping Derek Carr and trading Mariota, and I think Bears should try to pick up Mariota, give him another shot. Another team was Carson Wentz. It was reported that it was confirmed that the Bears traded for Carson Wentz for Tariq Cohen, Nick Foles, and a first-round pick, but apparently that was all bogus. That never happened, and I think that is, I think Bears are giving up a lot for Carson, especially because he has such a fat contract, and Eagles are asking for about 2 first-round picks for him. It's interesting to see the Carson Wentz situation. It's definitely something to monitor. I personally don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he needs to have a good weapon, a good coach, and a good offensive line, and then he'll look like a good quarterback. But, yeah, that's just my opinion on him. Moving to the Colts, this is where I think Carson Wentz can shine. Frank Wright as that quarterback, or as that coach with Carson Wentz. Let's not forget, in 2017, he was a MVP caliber quarterback. And who was his OC at that time? Frank Reich. Again, not huge fans of Wentz, but I think Colts is a perfect fit for him. They could also just roll with Jacoby and also Jimmy G, possibly. They did try to trade for Jimmy last year when the Colts and Niners traded for DeForest Buckner with the 19th pick. They did try to trade for Jimmy G as well. I don't see it happening. I think Carson is the best available option, or they could try to draft one of their quarterbacks. Now, what are the pros and cons? They have a lot of cap space. That is definitely big. If you get a new quarterback, if you can even snag Watson, you can go ham in free agency. Frank Wright, obviously a great head coach. He's a quarterback guy. They've got a great defense and a great O-line. That is beautiful. Cons? I couldn't really think of any cons, honestly. Maybe they're weapons. They have Michael Pittman. I really like the dude. T.Y. Hilton, who I believe is set for free agency. And I'm not too sure who else they have. So, yeah, if I'm the Colts and I get a new quarterback, I definitely got to look into, one of the free agent wide receivers, Chris Godwin. Maybe even trade for A.J. Green, possibly. But definitely got to get some more targets. Washington, very interesting team. Cam Newton is my number one guy for Washington. I think Washington needs to go for Cam. Got Ron Rivera. And, be a cool reunite the two guys. They could also just roll with Heineke. They re-signed him to a 2-year contract extension. He performed the best against the Buccaneers in the playoffs. And I think he can use the year behind Cam Newton. I know, Taylor was, I guess, the backup in Carolina. You can have a little quarterback competition between those two as well. They could also draft Trask or Jones. I think that is probably the least least possible option. I don't really see them drafting a quarterback. And obviously Deshaun Watson. Any team would love Deshaun Watson. The pros, defense. We saw how great their defense was. Chase Young is a star in the making. They have Scary Terry as well on offense. Antonio Gibson. Pretty decent offense. Just a quarterback away. Maybe not to be Super Bowl contenders, but to be legit contenders. Also in an easy division. So there's that. Cons, it's Washington. Don't even have a name. So I guess you can be a hero. I don't know. Really, just depends. The next team, we have 2 more teams. While we're really going through this, my voice feels like it's gone. Panthers, number 1 on the list. I have Deshaun Watson. He hasn't said much about Carolina, but they have they have a good offense, and they have the OC Joe Brady, who's a very good OC. CMC, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. Another quarterback who I can see them drafting is Zach Fields or Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. A lot of mess ups today. I apologize. Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, both got a lot of potential, and could be very good under Joe Brady. We'll have to see what they do. They could also just roll with Teddy. The cons are the defense needs some work, and they're in a pretty tough division. However, I do feel like Falcons and Panthers are going to rule that division in a couple years. So if they draft a quarterback or get Watson, that's definitely a step in the right direction. Now, the last team, the New York Jets. Watson does not want to really go to the Jets. I still have him on my list, though, because you can never say never. All these dudes always lie. Watson, Fields, Justin Fields will obviously be up there with the number 2 overall pick. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that, whether they trade it for Watson or they draft the franchise quarterback or they roll with Sam Darnold. Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, we'll have to see what they do. Pros and cons. Pros, they've got a lot of cap space. They've got a new coaching. Robert Saleh took some of his Niner guys with him. We miss you, Saleh. And the quarterback gets a fresh start. Basically, a blank canvas. They're able to just whatever they want. Whatever they want. You've got all the cap space to work with. You want this receiver? Let's go for him. However, the con is they don't have much talent in general. What do they got? They got Frank Gore, Jamison Crowder, Mekhi Becton, Quinnen Williams. I can't even. That's about all I can name for the New York. Oh, they actually have a pretty solid defense. Oh, they got one of that saved. Marcus May. He's a pretty good stud. And that's all, ladies and gentlemen. We really ate through this episode. I could have talked about the Niners, but I really didn't want to have you guys sit through more of my Niners talk. I want to drop a free agency video, talk about where I think some of the top free agents will land. We'll see how that goes. I might do that a podcast episode. I made a TikTok about it, but I can go more in depth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and tuning into the Beat the Press podcast here on YouTube. Listen, we're almost at a year of Beat the Press podcast / David Dakar Show. It's been a phenomenal journey. And I haven't made a podcast episode in a while. I plan to come back. We might come back at that year mark or maybe a little earlier. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much. I love you all. Peace out.